Hello, we got a little change of view today. We're out in the sunroom. It's not super sunny today, so I figured we would just give it a little different view. Fun fact, so before we had moved to South Carolina, we were obsessed with palm trees. Every time we went somewhere and there was palm trees, we were like, oh, one day we're gonna have a palm tree, and there's our palm tree. Hi, I'm Jennings with Century 21 803 Realty, your local realtor based here in Lexington, South Carolina. I come on here once a week just to talk all things Lexington, South Carolina, things to do here, tips on buying and selling here, what it's like living here, and just anything you might want to know about Lexington, South Carolina if you're thinking of moving here or already live here. So today I want to talk about 6 pain points of South Carolina. Now, these may not come as pain points to you, but they do come as pain points to other people. So other people will move here and be very upset about these things that maybe they didn't know about. Maybe they didn't have a YouTube channel to go to and check out and learn about these things. And if you know me, you know I am brutally honest. I do not want you to move to South Carolina and not be happy here. If you don't think you can handle any one of these things, then maybe start researching another area to move to. We'll start off with number 1. We are not a walkable town. You will not be able to go, I mean, you can if you like a lot of risk and you're brave, but normally when you walk out of your neighborhood, it's just a 2-lane road with a very narrow shoulder. And to get anywhere, I mean, there's cars flying by you and not a lot of sidewalks outside of neighborhoods. Your shopping and food areas just kind of have their own areas, and then residential has their own areas. Even gas station, I remember being younger, riding my bike when we lived in Virginia to the corner stores and going, you know, picking up a drink and some snacks and bringing them home. No way we could do that here. There's just no way to ride a bike or walk, especially for young children. So if you depend on your 2 feet or a bike to get from place to place, Lexington might not be a great option for you. Number 2, there's not a lot of specialized medical care. A lot of people that live here that need that specialized medical care do have to travel to North Carolina, Charlotte, Raleigh, into Georgia. A lot of people have to travel when you need that specialized care. We do have plenty of doctors, wonderful hospitals, great hospitals, but that specialized care, we just don't have a whole lot of those to offer. Number 3, people around here don't like change. That might not come to a surprise to you. It's definitely true. They don't like change. They like the way things are. They love their guns. They love their freedoms. You'll get a lot of keyboard warriors online of people talking about how, like, don't come here, we're full here, and they're like kind of rude, but they don't lack the Southern charm. When you're here in person, you will get the sweetest, loving, most welcoming people, but as soon as you come in wanting to change things, you don't like how things are working down here politically, No, they don't like that at all. So if your views really don't align, that's fine. You will be welcomed to be here, but as soon as you start like really expressing those, they are not shy to tell you how it is. And so if that's something that you struggle with, or you really are, you have your beliefs that you are strong with and you want to make changes, Lexington, South Carolina might not be the best place to do that. Number 4, while we are a suburb of Columbia, which Columbia is the capital of South Carolina, it is not a big city. It is a very small city, actually. It's not even the biggest city in the whole state. So if you're used to living, especially in the northern areas where there are big cities and big buildings, you know, I don't know what's in those big cities, honestly. I've never lived in one, but faster paced. It is not like that. It is very slow paced here. It is very, if you are in a rush in life and that's just your mentality to be in a rush and need to get from point A to point B, Lexington might not be for you. We are not that big. Now, I wouldn't say we're a small rural town that is just super slow going, but coming from living in Virginia and even living in Pennsylvania for a few years, it is definitely way slower paced here. So people are going to take extra time to let you go on the four-way stop sign when you weren't there first, or have a conversation with somebody at the register, or stop you to talk about your outfit, or if that's your neighbor, they're not going to just walk by and say hello. They're going to walk by and then they're going to have a full-on conversation with you wherever they see you. So, if you're a fast-paced person and you want that big city, that fast-paced life, this is not it. Weather is probably another one that you're not going to be super surprised about. Obviously, South Carolina is hot. It's humid. You hear about it. This is not a surprise. I think a lot of people are surprised with how hot and humid it actually is. Again, if you're coming from out west where it's more of a dry heat and 100 degrees really isn't that big deal, and you're thinking, well, South Carolina average heat is only 90, 95 in the summer, so I'm used to that. No, it is not the same. It is not the same at all. 90 degrees here is much hotter and more miserable than 100 degrees, in my opinion. I don't know if everybody's different when it comes to dry heat and humid heat, but to me, yes, going outside and immediately being surrounded by just wet moisture is, and you're just sweating immediately, can be not so great. We did actually have a pretty mild summer though this year. It really didn't get too bad. There was a few days that it did get too bad, but aside from the summer being so miserable, I will say the other 3 seasons, which we do get a little taste of all 4 seasons, the other 3 seasons are fairly mild. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna talk about, number 6, I don't know if I've been counting these down or not, but number 6, HOAs. A lot of neighborhoods here in South Carolina have HOAs, and I can't begin to tell you how many people call me and they say, hi, I am looking for a house without an HOA. And just to be perfectly honest, there just isn't very many of them. They do exist, but people look at living in South Carolina, and what draws them here is the cost of living. And they see that the cost of living is in the 300s as an average. And they're like, wow, that's amazing. In the 300s. Average is everything in one. Well, 90% of it is HOAs. So that price range is going to probably include an HOA. So if you're looking for a house that is not an HOA, that's not going to be that average price range. People are really surprised about that when I tell them, I know you really like this house, but to have this house not on an HOA and on your own property or on a property without an HOA is going to be significantly higher. So if you're somebody that is completely against HOAs and you really want to stay in that 300 price range, Lexington is not going to be able to offer that, unfortunately. Rarely anyway. Maybe, very rarely, you might find a diamond in the rough. So that's all I have, your 6 pain points of Lexington, South Carolina. If there's any pain points that you can think of, maybe where you live, or maybe you live in South Carolina and you've experienced pain points that I didn't discuss today, let me know. Let me know what your pain points are, what maybe you're worried about when moving here, and I'm happy to discuss that. So again, Crystal Jennings with Century 21 803 Realty, and I will see you guys next week.